Gordon, Henry, and James were all complaining about diesels again, much to Edward's dismay. Why don't you always just complain about diesels? They're always helpful to us, said Edward. Pah! Said Gordon. They're newfangled nonsense. They'll only replace us when the time's right. They're nothing more but tin cans on wheels, said Henry. Despicable, if you ask me, said James. They're nothing more but heaps of dead debris. Innocent little Percy then spoke up. What's debris? He asked. Debris, little Percy. It means remains of an engine or parts that nobody else wants to use. Like garbage, for instance. You'll see that diesels one day help. Yes, but us steam engines don't help diesels. It's disgraceful, said Gordon. Disgusting, said James. Despicable, replied Henry. You'll see soon, said Edward. Before the other tender engines could respond, they then heard a horn. Boko then came. Good evening, Boko, said Edward. How are you? Oh, I'm doing good, Edward, said Boko. I just came here for some rest. Do you mind if I sleep here for the night? Not at all, said Edward. Go ahead. This made the big engines really cross. You just like to help diesels, do you? It's the right thing to do. All of us engines should be treated equals. Well, you'll see, Edward. One day, something bad's gonna happen. And if we see you catching up with diesels, then you're gonna get it soon. Diesels, said Boko. What's up with diesels? The tender engines always like to speak about this, said Edward. Just ignore them. Okay, said Boko. If you say so. But secretly, Edward was worrying about what would happen. And so did Percy. Are you going to be okay? What do you think the engines meant by that you're going to get it? Don't worry, Percy, said Edward. No matter what happens, I'll still be the number 2. Just wait and see. The next day, Thomas couldn't make it. He had boiler ache again. So Edward had to take over for his job while he was getting repaired. Come along, girls, said Edward. Thomas may be gone, but at least I'll be here to help out. Ooh, Edward's just a sweetheart, isn't she, Clarabelle? Said Annie. Indubitably, Annie. What would we do without our number 2? Edward smiled, and when the guard blew his whistle, they started off. Out on the main line, Edward enjoyed it. The sweet, calming sensations of the branch line just made him gleam with happiness. Pretty soon he forgot about what the engine said last night. As Edward entered the station, he just loved the sound of the birds chirping. Oh, nothing can possibly go wrong on such a beautiful day, he said. Edward then stopped. He felt happier than ever. On the platform next to him was Peter. The LMS Black 5. He was collecting important passengers, which were sent to be taken to Knapford Station for something important. Peter then looked and saw Edward. Slowly he began to back up. Edward then saw his friend. "Hello, Edward. How are you doing on this fine day, my lad?" "Oh, very dutifully. And how are you doing over there, Peter?" "Oh, pretty far." Gordon passed by. He said that diesels were just nothing more but a nuisance to the railway, but I don't care about that. He's still useful. Diesels are much as useful as steam engines are, and I don't care. I did hear about that last night in the sheds, but I can't tell you more. Really, Edward? Maybe one day they're gonna get back. Just wait and see. Suddenly, the guard's whistle blew. "Oh, that's my whistle. Got to go. The passengers will be waiting for me." And Peter steamed off to Knapford. Annie and Clarabelle were then uncoupled from Edward. Edward then set off to have a rest. But as Edward was gonna get to the sidings, he then saw Diesel. Diesel was working his best, taking a long goods train. The last loads were coming in. But before he was about to start moving again, he stopped. Edward was confused. What happened? "Oh, botheration," said Diesel. "My injector's broke." Edward then spoke up. "Is everything okay, Diesel?" "No," he said. "My axles are tingling, and I busted an injector. I need help. And now I bust everything. The last load won't make it on time." Edward then decided to help. "The steam engines might say that we shouldn't help diesels, but I think I should," said Edward. He then set off to switch tracks with Diesel. Soon Edward switched tracks. He was now on the same line as Diesel. He then buffered up. "Come on, Diesel. Let's get your load finished," said Edward. "Wow," said Diesel. "I never heard you so confident before, Edward." "The steam engine said that I can't help you, but I will, even if they don't want me around or not." With the last of his remaining strength, Diesel began to push, and Edward began to pull. Come on," said Edward. We're gonna make it. The train started to go. Diesel was getting tired and tired. At long last, they began to move. As the two engines began moving, Edward kept going on. "Follow me, Diesel." They then went through the tunnel. "Let's keep moving, Diesel. Let's move." And even with a failed injector, Diesel was still moving. "I'm doing it, Edward! I'm doing it!" he'd say. "Thank you!" At last, the two engines then arrived at the destination. Diesel was happy. "Thank you for helping me, Edward. I got the load on time, and I finally get to get repaired." "Anytime, Diesel," said Edward. Why, after that, Edward set home. But he didn't know that an unhappy James had seen the whole thing. Edward puffed home with pride. Edward came home with a lot of satisfaction to think of. "James told all of us how you saved Diesel." "That's really nice of you, Edward." "Thank you, Percy. I feel as happy as ever." But the big engines didn't feel the same way as Percy. "That was so irresponsible of you," said Gordon. "You had to help one of Sodor's most irresponsible diesels, and you had to do it." "Why?" "He needed help. I couldn't just sit there and do nothing." "Edward did a good deed. Maybe you should forgive him," said Thomas. "Rubbish," said Gordon. "Edward has betrayed us. He is no longer a really useful engine to us. He is a really, really disgraceful steamer. You have not earned our trust, Edward." "Then what do you want me to do with it?" "Leave." "Fine, I will." Everyone was shocked. But until I know West, I'd rather want to see how you feel when time comes up for you. Until we see each other again, it's time for us to go new." Thomas and Percy were shocked. "Edward can't leave?" "He already did," said Gordon. The engines then stared in the night sky. Edward was gone. As Edward steamed away, he could only think to himself. But not anymore, since he knew it was all over with. "Edward's really useful. You should have respected him." "He's disgraceful. I never want to see him back here again." And he was soon to be right.